So when you write out a number in words, you just want to make sure, because I'm going to be looking for the and for the decimal. So this will be 23. And so tenths, hundredths. So I know my number has to end with hundredths. Make sure you put the TH, not hundreds, hundredths, right? And then just write out whatever this number is, 45. Does that make sense? So this is going to be, all right, there's not going to be a number prior. So what is this number going to end with? Tenths, hundredths, thousandths, 10 thousandths. So this number is going to end with 10 thousandths. And then what's the number that precedes it, Just? Good hope, yeah, 34. Perfect. All right, any questions on those? Devin, you get them right?
Yeah.
Awesome.
You have to write 0 and 30.
No. I wouldn't mark it wrong, though, if you did. Yeah. All right, so write in standard form. So 8 and, all right, 6 thousandths. So I know how many decimals am I going to need? Tenths, hundredths, thousandths. So I know I'm going to need 3 digits. And then would put the 6 in the last digit. And then we'll fill in with zeros. So negative 503 and 102 thousandths. So I know I need 3 digits again. And now I just fill in the 102. We do okay. Any questions? We good? Okay. This is the one I'm worried about. You're going to forget to put the number in simplest form. All right, so if we go from a decimal to a fraction, you just write it as you would read it. 16 hundredths. But then you have to write it in simplest form. Now how would you guys, Justin, how do you think about that when you write it in simplest form? Do you divide or do you write it out as the product of primes?
I divided 16 by 2.
All right, so they're both even.
Yeah.
So Justin said, okay, I know I can divide both of them by 2.
And then I divided by 2 again.
They're both even. So I got to divide them both by 2 again. So 4 over 8, 25.
Yeah. And then I couldn't divide by 2 or by 3.
Yep.
Or by 5.
Then you're done. Good. That's a good way to think of it. So don't forget to write it in simplest form. So this one, negative 12. And then you would read that as 23 1/1000ths. 23 is not even, and it's prime. There's no factors of 23. So that's done. You can't simplify that anymore. The only factors of 23 are 1 and 23 doesn't go into 1,000 evenly. So you know you can't simplify that anymore. You doing okay? That page good? Okay. Oh man, I want you all to get 100s on this test. All 100s. This is one that I'm worried about. All right? Especially the first one. So if you're a negative number, the further you are to the left, the smaller you are. Right? So for example, if I were comparing negative 50 and negative 1, which one is further to the left? The 50. So that's smaller. Okay? Now for decimals, if you want, line up the decimals. These are pretty crazy numbers. 2, 3, 5, 0, 5. And then just literally cover up those decimals. You can leave the negative sign, just cover up the decimals. Oh, those aren't lined up nicely here. This would be 0, the 5 would be here, and then a 0 would be there, actually, like if I had those lined up. So imagine covering up the decimals. Now remember, there's negatives there that you can't see. So which one would be further away from the 0 on the left? The one on the top or one on the bottom? The one on the bottom is further to the left, so it's smaller. So this guy is actually smaller. So I would line up the decimals, line up the digits. If it's negative, you have to say, okay, the one that's bigger looking is the one that's further to the left. It's actually going to be smaller on the number line. This one's not hard. Which one's bigger, the one on the left or the one on the right? Yeah, that one's pretty easy. These are not equal. So 1/3 is 0.33333 ... right? 0.333 is this with zeros ... So which one's bigger, the one on the top, the 1/3, or the one on the bottom? Yep, top. These ones are not equal. Now, if I'm going from a fraction to a decimal, this fraction is just another way to divide. It's just a simpler division problem. So to figure out what that number would be as a decimal, we can just do a quick division. So 6 will go into 50 48 times. I'll have 2 left. I'll bring down the 0. How many times will 8 go into 20? 2. So already, which one, I mean, there's more to go, but I don't really need to go any further. Which one's bigger? The one on the right. I don't need to even do the division out. As soon as I see it's 0.62 and the other one's 0.63, I know which one's bigger. These are the ones I'm worried about. Are we okay? Do you have any questions on those? Justin, are you good? Did you miss it?
No.
Okay, good. All right, to the nearest tenth, let's underline and look to the right. Do I keep the 6 or make it higher? Keep it. To the nearest thousandths, tenths, hundreds, thousandths, do I keep it or make it higher? Keep it. Don't forget to write the numbers that are before. With addition, what do you have to do? Good. Line up the decimals. 1, 1, 18, and don't forget to bring the decimal down. I think when I give you guys back the pre-assessment that you took, a lot of it had decimal operations. You're going to kick yourselves when you see it, because I was looking at it the other day. I'm like, oh, they all know how to do that now. I think you guys are going to think it's really easy, and you're going to be mad that you missed it. So here I'm adding. I know my answer is going to be negative because they're both negative. Line up the decimals. I'm going to add some zeros so that they're the same length. Did you guys get 7 and 28 1/100ths? Okay. This one is off of that assessment, and a lot of people missed it. You have to add a lot of zeros to make sure that these line up, right? What'd you say, Justin? Thank you. The first week, do you remember you took that test? It wasn't a test. It was just an exercise to see if you were placed correctly. Do you remember it? Do you guys remember what I'm talking about? Okay. You'll see. I'm going to give it back to you. We're going to do it again before the final so we know what we need to review and what we don't need to review. So I usually give it the Wednesday of the last week, and then I give them both back to you on Friday, so then you can look and say, okay, I still missed this again. I need to really review this right now, and then we spend the rest of the time reviewing. Okay. Tons of regrouping for this one. Got to go all the way to the 2. Alright, so you should have gotten 2089 199 9802 10 thousandths. 9,802 10 thousandths. Did anyone else get that? That's good, right? Devin, did you get that? Yeah? Did anyone else get that? I did it really fast. Did you get that, Taylor? Did you get that? Okay, I did it so fast and I see a lot of people racing. I just want to make sure. Yeah, it looks like I did it right. We good? Can I flip or are we still writing? Are we okay? Okay. So adding again. Line up those decimals. So do you guys get 26? You can write 26 or 26 with the decimal and 2 zeros. It doesn't matter. They're the same thing. When we multiply, it's standard algorithm. Ignore the decimals. Now look, you're taking 34 and you're multiplying it by 2. So you know your answer is going to be like 2.3, 2 3/10. So it's going to be, if it were just, what's 34 times 2? That's just 68, right? So you know your answer is going to be a little bit bigger than 68. All right, so let's see. So 6, 0, 12, 10, magic 0, 4, 0, 8, 6. So did you guys get 78, 78246? Okay. Now I said the answer is going to be a little bit bigger than 68. So when you think about decimals, right, it doesn't make any sense to call it 7.8. 78 is pretty close to 68, and then if you do another decimal shift, you're at 782. So it should make sense that your decimal goes right here. But Justin, how did you do it? I know you know how to explain it. How do we know?
Every number to the right of the decimal is how many decimal points you slide to the left.
Yep. So we have 1, 2, 3 decimals in our factors. So we're going to shift to the left 3 decimal places in our product. We have 3 decimal places to the right in my factors. We want 3 decimal places to the right in my answer. How are we doing? All right. Now my other class, I have a student who keeps forgetting that it's just this number, the divisor, that has to be a whole number. So a negative divided by negative is a positive. So I just know my answer is going to be positive. So what do I have to do with the decimal to get this number to be a whole number? Shift it to the right one. So this has to go to the right one, and then I bring it up. So it's really 210 divided by 3, right? So did you guys get 70 for that?
So you have to do it how many times 3 goes into 210?
Yeah, how many times will 3 go into 2? None. How many times will 3 go into 21? 7. Bring down the 0, and then,
Oh, you have to do that, right?
yep, 0 times 70. This one is where my other class, she makes everything a whole number, and then it's so much more work for her. So what's my answer going to be, positive or negative? And then we don't have to worry about the negative signs anymore. It's going to be negative, so let's just throw it in there. Because a negative divided by a positive is negative. Okay, I want to make this a whole number, not this, the divisor. So how many decimal shifts? 2 to the right, plant it. 2 to the right, plant it. So I'm just going to rewrite it. So it's really 0.63, 63 hundredths divided by 3. Bring up the decimal. How many times does 3 go into 6? Bring down the 3. 1. So you should have gotten negative 21 hundredths. You okay? Taylor, do you have a question?
I just don't understand why the 3 is on the outside for F, but then the 3 is on the outside for G. And then understand how to write the division out. And that makes no sense.
Wait, so if you want to, maybe if you do this, if you want to write it as a fraction, like that, and then multiply top and bottom by 10, do you see that would be negative 210 divided by
No,
negative 3?
I don't understand how to put it into the division type.
The long division way?
Like which number goes where?
Yeah.
Oh, it's
Because you like,
I always go, like, it's it goes in order. Numerator, denominator, ND. So the numerator, write it like this. You ready? Think of just a simple one, like 10 divided by 2. Isn't that 5?
Yep.
So wouldn't you go 10 divided by 2 is 5. Is that
The numerator's
okay?
always on the inside of the long division.
How can we think of like an easier way to remember it? The first number goes on the inside.
I just read it out to myself. Like the way I say it, I'd say like -21 divided by.
That's how I do it. It's -21 divided by 3. And how would you, if I wrote that down, Taylor, how would you read that? Would you go 10 divided by 5 or 5 divided by 10? 10 divided by 5. It's the way you read it. Do you see what I mean, Amy?
I would have said 5 divided
That's how you would have read that?
by. Yeah.
Oh.
Who's 5 is
I always get it backwards.
Yeah, you always read the number first on the inside.
I don't know. Picture like a house. Like that's a house. And
Okay, we're gonna
first
make
one
the
there
test.
gets the first house.
The first one gets to go inside first. That makes
So
sense.
first number always goes inside.
All right, I like the way
Club.
Justin just said it. You ready? So think of this as a house.
Your club.
This is Justin's cool club.
And
And this is the first in line, right? And so it gets to go in Justin's house first. Justin's house of coolness. Does that make sense? So whatever number's first, they get to go in the club first.
yeah, to be honest, our dorm room was probably the coolest room too. So
What'd you
makes
say?
sense. Our dorm room was probably the coolest room. So it
There
makes
you
sense,
go. Amy, does that help? You think you remember now? I know, Amy was asking, do you think you remember now?
Yeah.
She was nodding her head like this. Do you think you remember it now? Yeah, I know. Okay. Justin, let's hope that your house of coolness will bring her to the best. Okay. All right, so you have to do little divisions to do this. Now, someone said, can you change it to an improper fraction first? You can, but if you know if this is going to be a decimal, 2 is going to come first, right? It's 2 and then some decimal points. So I just worry about the little fraction component. Okay, same thing with Justin's. The one on the top gets to go into the house first. It's the house of coolness. Jump and bring the decimal up. How many times does 3 go into 20? It's 18. Oh boy, I see it right away. How many times does 3 go into 20? 6. Minus 18. Bring down the 0. How far do they want us to round it? All right, do you see the repeat already? I mean, do we have to go through the division? So this is going to be 2.66666 repeat.
I did the same thing that, like, I got the same answer as you did, but mine is 8.00, not 2.00.
But it would be 2.66. So if you change that to an improper fraction, that's great. So then you would have gone 8 divided by 3, bring the decimal up. 3 goes into 8 2 times. You see it?
Oh, you just the fraction.
Yeah, I just did the fraction. Same thing. And then 4 divided by 5. 4 is on the top, so it gets to go to the house first. And what did you guys get for that? 0.8. Just do a little mini division problem. You just have to practice a couple of those. Just do little division problems. All right, these are just shortcut rules. How many places do I have to shift the decimal? 2 to the right, right? When you multiply, you make it bigger. How many are we going to shift to the right on this? 3 to the right, because we have to make it bigger. Division? 2 to the left. Division? 3 to the left, so we have to add some zeros in to give us spaces to move. You do okay with that? Those are just those rules we went over. And this one should be easy. I gave you, it looks like, ugh, we don't want to do this one. But I on the test, you round it by a multiple of 5. So those tend to be a little bit easier. So what will this be as a standard division problem if I make that divisor into a whole number? What's the problem going to look like?
25.
Yep, 25 there, and
822.
22.4. Okay, good. So we bring up the decimal. But I tried to make it easier. So how many 25s go into 82? That's pretty easy to think of, right? 3, because that's 75. 7, 1, bring down the 2. How many 25s go into 72? 2. So that'll be 50. Bring down the 4. How many 25s go into 224? What is it, 8? So that'd be 200. So we only have to round it to the nearest tenth. So I just need to know if I'm going to keep that 8 or make it higher. Make it higher. Because how many 25s go into 240? Well, I know it's more than 8, right? So I don't have to worry about what the number is. I just know I would make that higher. Do you see what I mean? I don't need to go through the division. I just need to know, is that going to be a 5 or higher? You okay? All right, so pull out a blank sheet of paper because this is the one I'm really actually quite worried about. It's the circle question. There's just one that I see, and I'll tell you which one it is. Okay, I'm going to look at a circle question. So I'm going to cover this one up. I don't want to look at that one. Oh, I'm going to use my phone. Okay, so pretend that this is the problem on the test, but I'm telling you that the radius is 8 inches. So then the first question is, what's the diameter? Pretend this is a test question. And you need your calculator. Answer all of those questions. And then we'll get out of here. Yep. The test question, I cut and pasted off
We can use a
this.
calculator?
Yep. And the formulas I give you. So circumference is pi times d. Circumference is 2 pi r. You have these on your test. You don't have to memorize those. I have no doubt that it will be fine. Did they? I put a 10 in because I knew you were fine with them. Then I'm not worried about you. You need your calculator for some of those. Make sure you put your units and you round appropriately because there were 3 points. One for the unit, one for appropriate rounding, and then one for the answer. 3 points questions.
When we input pi in our calculator, do you want to say the pi button or the button?
Nope, pi button, because you'll need it to be able to round it. You won't have enough rounding if you just use 3.14. Yeah.
You take it up? Or
No, I'm going to do it right now. So what's the diameter so we can get out of here?
16.
16 inches. Exact means don't turn on your calculator. So you could write it as, if you want to see, it's 2 times pi times 8. So just leave it as 16 pi inches. Don't forget your units. It's exact. So now when I do 2 times 8 times pi, did you guys, I have to use my calculator. Did you get 2.7 when you rounded it? Is that okay? Okay. When it says area, I'm going to tell you, it's 3 points. So for area it would be pi times r squared, a squared 64. You have to have your units on there. And then this one is worth 3. So it's 1 point for putting the square inches. 1 point for putting like 201 point something. And then the appropriate rounding is worth another point. Like if you put 201 square inches, I take off 1 point because you didn't round appropriately. Does that make sense?
For the exact area, you can't just say this. Y, parentheses, 8.
Oh, I'd take it. That'd be perfect. Yeah, I'd be thrilled with that. So on Monday, I'll give you a video worksheet after your test that Justin loves not to do. And then we are really coming down to the nitty gritty. See you guys Monday. Have a good weekend. I'm glad you're getting this in because they are in high demand over there. You know, first come first served. Good. We're taking it Monday, right? I think our exam is Monday.
That's Monday, November 15th.
Shut up.
They go
Right?
The first exam is 8 to 11, and the second one is 11:15.
Oh, I thought you meant the date. Is it the 15th too?
Yes, the
That's
15th.
perfect. Okay. Yeah, 11:15 to 2:15, right?
It's 3 hours.
You won't be out 3 hours.
That's what I'm saying, do I have to stay with you?
Yeah, oh my gosh, no.
They used to do that in high school.
Oh, God, no.
Yeah, my high school, they'd be like, all right, you have to be here for this long, and you can't leave within the last 30 minutes, because if you do, it's distracting. Or trying to finish.
No, as soon as you're done, I did. And actually, Tiffany, like you can take it any time that week. I will drop it off on Monday, but if you have other finals on Monday, you can take it any time between Monday and Friday. Does that make sense? Do you want me to write that down in case you know?
Yeah.
Okay. At the start. Okay, anytime. But I'll have it there on Monday morning. So then you can do what you will. Right? That's not a good day for you because you have other exams. Go a different day. Do they make sense? Just keep it. Keep it and email me or call me if you have questions.
Do you have any extra blank worksheets?
Yes, I do. Any reviews? Is that what you want?
Yeah.
Here's the calculator allowed one. And then here is the note taker. Excellent. That's a good way to study. A really good way. Oh, cool. Let's see.
The test is Monday?
Yes. Yes, it is.
I'm doing it recently.
I don't even
I was doing
know
it a lot last night. I was trying to play FIFA in my nice free time.
I was doing so many calculations. I was in
Okay, so here, let's write the right answers. So this is the exact. So this is good, but you don't need square. So this would be 20 pi inches. Actually, yep. And this one, 20 times pi, this is 62.8.
That's what I had.
I don't see 0.83 anywhere on this paper.
I had 62,
Yes.
and then I rounded it up.
But there's no rounding. That's why it
But-
says exact. And I don't see 0.83 anywhere here. It's 0.83 because it has to be to the nearest hundred. Because you'll get it marked wrong because the rounding is worth a point. So make sure exact. You don't turn your calculator on. And for the approximate, you round to basically 2 decimals. If you just had 62.8, you get a point off. Not my rubric. Oh, are we still rounding? Are we still? Yeah. So you got to make sure that I round appropriately.